Hi everybody, it's Katie. Today I want to talk to you about cloth diapering. Does it sound scary? Is it overwhelming? Do you think, am I going to have enough time for this? Isn't that expensive? I don't know about all that. Well, I want to talk to you today about cloth diapering and my experience with it, and to tell you that you can do it and that it's not overwhelming and that it's not too expensive once you kind of get past that initial investment. So today, like I said, we'll talk about that and my experiences with what I've done. So I think the first thing is, at least for me, is I got on YouTube. Imagine that. I got on YouTube and Google and just did as much research as I possibly could about what kind of cloth diapering options there are, and there's quite a few. So to save time, you can do your own research. I'm just going to let you know my top two that after I did all my research, there were two types that I was thinking, okay, I want to do this. So the first kind was an all-in-one diaper. So as you can see, there's two layers here, and then of course there's this bottom layer as well. So this is, as it sounds, an all-in-one. You just strap this on the baby, and you see from all these little snaps that it can accommodate a small baby to a bigger baby, and I forget what the sizing is, but you just order the sizes that you need. So this is all in one. So this was option number one, and then option number two is pre-folds. So here's one size pre-fold, here's another size pre-fold. This is a medium, this is a large. So the pre-folds along with a diaper cover that's got the shiny on the inside so you won't leak. These are called Thirsties. They're diaper covers. There's a bunch of different diaper covers out there. And then you don't have to use these, but I did. They're snappies, and so they've got the little grips, and I'll show you kind of an idea of how this all works here in a little bit, but the little snappies. I ended up going with the pre-fold diapers, and here's why. This is totally a personal preference. The Bum Genius, the all-in-one, it's a great diaper. But for me, there were a couple things. Number one, financial reasons. I had a budget. I had to convince my husband that this was going to be a good investment, and it actually has been. We'll show you the numbers here in a little bit. But so financial reasons were one. I needed to be able to have enough diapers that I wasn't washing diapers every single day, because that's time consuming. Ain't nobody got time for that. Not me anyway. So I didn't want to be doing diapers every single day, and so I needed to have enough diapers to last me for, maybe 4 days or 5 days or 3 days or something before I started having to do them. So financial reasons was one, but the other reason is it felt like such a waste that, you know how when you change your baby and you have this nice fresh diaper and they poop, and you're like, ugh, you had to wait for a freshie, right? So I felt like I have this beautiful all-in-one diaper and one little squirt of poop and it's ruined, and you got to throw it in the wash, the whole thing. And to me, and maybe it's silly, I don't know, it just felt like it was kind of a waste. And so with the pre-folds, that's not really the case, at least I didn't feel like it was. So you take your pre-fold, you put it on the baby, they poo, and you're like, oh man, but you take the pre-fold off, you can still use the cover as long as there was no leakage or whatever. And so I guess it just felt a little bit, it made a little more sense to me. And the other thing is these things work as great as like burp cloths and cleaning up sped up messes or whatever, PE messes that didn't quite make it into the diaper. I don't know. So I like the pre-folds quite a bit, actually. So we decided to go with the pre-folds. As I mentioned earlier, do I have the money? Am I going to be able to afford this? I do have to tell you that there is an initial investment, and it's kind of like you got to get over this little hump first, and the hump involves time. Do I have the time? Money. Do I have the money? Can I do this? This seems really complicated. So once you make it over that hump, it's like totally sailing smooth downward the entire way after that. But there is that little initial hump that you got to get over. So finances. I think that I have quite a few. I don't have all of them, but I do have a pretty big pile here. This is probably only about a quarter of the size that I have. My budget was about $300 for everything, and so I knew that I needed to be able to get everything for that price. So that was the money thing. That was part of the hump, was the money. And the other part of it was, am I going to have time? Am I going to know how to do this? Well, the people that I ordered from, I think it was Blue Mountain. We'll put the link in the description below. Am I going to have the time? They sent me this amazing pamphlet and they explained exactly how it was all going to go, what you need to do when you get your diapers, because as another part of this little hump you've got to get over, when the pre-folds show up, you see how this is kind of nice and crinkly, and they don't look like that when they come in the mail. When they come in the mail, they're probably almost double this size. They're nice and flat and smooth, and you're like, wow, that's like a towel. I could get my kid out of the bath with this. So you actually have to kind of prep them before. And that is a little bit of a time commitment. So if I just picked a day that I was going to be home and was going to have time to go back and forth to the washing machine, because you actually, to prep them, you need to wash them and dry them. I don't remember exactly how much, but it's like 4 or 5 times you got to run them through a cycle, because you've got to get them ready. And the more you wash them, the more absorbent they become, which is crazy to me. But anyway, so that's part of your part of your investment is time to get them ready. But again, once you kind of get over that little hump, then you're good to go, because I've got these all ready and washed, and it doesn't take any time at all now. So, okay, back to the pre-folds. The next step when you have the pre-folds is cleaning. Well, what happens when my kid goes pee in them? When your kid goes pee, no big deal. You just put them in the garage we have a trash can with a lid, or wherever it is that you want to put your diapers, you just throw them in there, because pee, it's no big deal. Now poop, that is a little bit different of a story. You don't want to put a giant poopy diaper in your washing machine, because A, that's gross, and B, you'll probably find little floaties later on with your clothes when you wash your underwear, and that's gross. So you want to make sure that you wash the poop off. And what I did is I went to Amazon and found a few products that were going to help me with that. One is, it's like a plastic, and we'll have a little video or description of what we've got, but it's a plastic. It comes in a triangle. It's like a little trifold, and it folds up, or you can leave it in the shape of a triangle, and it has like a clipboard clip. So you take your diaper and you put it under the clipboard, and you've got the plastic is around it, so you're not going to be spraying poo everywhere, because if you didn't have this, you would, and that's also gross. And then I also found it's a bidet sprayer, and I found that if you put cloth diaper sprayer, or cloth diaper anything, the price is a little bit more, because cloth diapering is a thing, apparently. So I found a bidet sprayer that does the exact same thing. It's a little handheld spray nozzle that you attach to your toilet, and if you're handy, you could probably do it yourself or get your husband to do it. It's a quick install. It literally just attaches onto and down by where you turn the water off and on. It's really fast. So with your little bidet sprayer and your plastic trifold, you turn the water on to the bidet sprayer, you spray the poop off, it goes straight into the toilet, you flush. I use gloves, because then I would reach in, I wring out the cloth diaper, get all the excess water out. I put my sprayer and everything down on the floor. I have a towel that it kind of lives right by the toilet. And then I take my wet cloth diaper, take it out to the garage, and we're done. We're good to go. So it's pretty easy. I mean, the first few times and you're spraying poo off, it's kind of like, but it's pretty quick, it's pretty easy. You get a system and it goes really fast. And then as far as washing goes, I pick a day that I know I'm going to have a little bit of time, because washing is, it takes a couple cycles, because at first you want to rinse, and then you want to do a hot wash. You can do a secondary hot wash, which I always do just to make sure everything's off, and then a final rinse. And if you live in a warm climate, which I do in the summertime, you can hang dry your diapers, which is amazing, because it'll also kind of bleach them out. But if you live in a colder climate, which I used to, then you would just dry them. Now, you might be kind of wondering, okay, what's the difference between, is it actually really better for the environment? Or maybe you're not thinking that, I don't know. I kind of wondered, like, maybe this would be a little bit better for the environment, but I still use I still use disposable diapers. We'll get to that in just a second. We've actually done the numbers as far as, is it actually economical to do the cloth diapering? So is it better for the environment? You're using water versus landfill. So I guess that's kind of up to you. That's your decision, whether or not it's better. I like the idea of being able to put a load of cloth diapers in the wash and the dryer, pull them out and fold them, and I didn't throw anything away. Yes, I used water, so I mean, it's a little give and take, whatever you think, it's fine. But I have a feeling of satisfaction when I do that. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, we also did the numbers, and I think we figured out that it was like 0.06 cents per load or something like that. So once you get past that hump and that initial investment, it's actually quite a bit more economical. But as I said, I do use disposable diapers because I am definitely not that militant. Because with my first daughter, we did cloth diapering, and I remember we went to the store the first time with her cloth diaper on, and of course, she had a blowout. It was crazy. And I was like, I don't have time, I'm going to deal with this. And so we found a really good disposable diaper that I like. It's Earth's Best. Pick whatever flavor you like. There's a bunch of the disposables out there. Just pick the one you like. And then we use those for when we're going out and doing errands or we're traveling. I don't do cloth diapers when we travel. I just don't. Because I never know if I'm going to have access to a good washing machine. It's just too much. So we do that when we're traveling, when we're out running errands. But during the day when we're home, I put her in a cloth diaper and I let her hang out in that because that's easy enough for me to wash a little bit later. So anyway, that's kind of my quick and easy on the cloth diapering. I know it might seem a little bit overwhelming. It was for me, especially even when I just had the one, because I was thinking, can I actually really do this? And like any new thing, it's going to take, it'll take a couple weeks to kind of get a system going, but it's worth it, I think, in my opinion. I got a huge stack of the cloth diapers, the covers, the snappies, and I think I spent a grand total. Oh, and this. I use the Biokleen laundry liquid. You do need to use a laundry detergent that is that's good enough, or that works with cloth diapers, because you don't want to use Tide, because Tide has different chemicals and there's things in there that you don't want on your baby's bottom. So you definitely do want to pick out a laundry liquid. But that thing right there has lasted me, I don't know, gosh, probably 6 months or more, because you don't need a whole lot. Because again, you're washing the poo off, and then pee is just, you're just rinsing that out. So anyways, you do need to have a special liquid. But I think for everything that I got, I think I spent maybe between $300 and $350. And I did that in 2012, and here it is 2017, and I'm working on baby number 2, and I've got all this great stuff, and so it's a good investment, I feel like. And the other thing is, you can sell them when you're done with them, because cloth diapers don't really lose, unless they're just horribly torn up, cloth diapers don't lose their value. So that's what I got, guys. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments. I'd love for you to kind of join into the discussion if you want to say anything about cloth diapering. And also I'd like to invite you to check out our channel. We've got a bunch of different videos. I think we have like over 35 videos now about mommyhood and baby stuff and cloth diapering now. So yeah, we'd love to have you check out the rest of our videos. We also have a Facebook page. It's the KT Files, and you're welcome to join us on there as well. But thanks for your time. If you liked our video, click like and maybe think about subscribing and joining us along our journey. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and happy cloth diapering. Bye, guys. Okay, everybody, I'm going to do a demonstration of the jelly roll fold, and this is the one that I like the best. So we'll start off with our pre-fold and our baby. This is baby periwinkle, snappy, and diaper cover. So I've got all of this. So first thing you're going to do is start with it folded over like that. That's super helpful for when baby has a big poop. Hopefully the poop will be caught in there versus shoot out and get all over everything. So obviously baby peri is not to size here, but so you'll have your fold. Now the reason it's called a jelly roll fold is right here. So you take and roll roll, roll, and up between the legs, and then you fan it out a little bit. Take your sides here, pull them up, keeping that fold in the back. Yeah, not to size. So then we get our snappy, you attach here, oop. Pull it over, this part goes down here. Be careful, these are really sharp. And then you get your pre-fold cover. And you can get snaps or elastic, or not elastic, Velcro. Yeah, there we go. Okay, baby Perry is diapered. And so you could just make sure that that gets tucked up over the side. And then you also want to make sure that there is you don't want any of this poking out of the diaper, because if baby pees, then whatever this is touching will get wet. So you want to make sure that you've got everything all nice and tucked in. There you go.